You make this bracelet in 4 parts using a mixture of macrame and friendship bracelet knotting techniques. For part 1 you want to start with macrame style. So I'm going to work in sections of 4 threads, doing these 4, then these, then these, then these. So to do this I want to take the 2 threads in the centre here, and I want to take the 2 threads next to those, and I want to work a square knot over these 2 threads here with the 2 on the outside. So I'm going to take this one over the top of this one, and then this one will go over the top of this, and then under these and under this. And then pull through. And to complete the square knot I want to take this thread on the left and take it underneath these 2 threads here, then take this one, also goes underneath here, then over here and pull through, and then tighten, and that completes the first square knot. And then I want to do the same thing with the next 4 threads. So taking these 2 threads over these 2 threads, I want to repeat what I did here. So because I've done a gradient going with the colours on the outside and working in, I want this knot to look the same as this knot, but because the threads are effectively in the opposite order, I have to change this up a bit. So to do this, I'm going to start as normal, but I'm basically doing this square knot backwards. So what I want to do is I want to take this thread, and instead of going over for the first knot, I'm going to do the first knot as I would normally do the second knot. So I'm going to work under, and then under, and then through, and then I'm going to do over, over, and through. And this is basically just the opposite of what I would normally do for a square knot. I've just done the square knot kind of backwards, and this will keep the colours in the same order going inwards. And then for the last 4 threads I can just do the square knots as I did with this and this section. So again, I'm just going to work it over the top, over, and then under here, and pull through, and then under, underneath, and pull through. So for my second row, I want to ignore the 2 threads on the outside at each side. So I'm going to move these out of the way just to demonstrate that these will not be worked. And then again, I'm going to do square knots. So this time I'm doing 3 instead of 4 as I did for row 1. To begin, I want to take the 2 threads on the outside and work my square knot. And I'm going to do the same with the centre section, so taking the outside thread for this section of 4, go over, over, then under here and pull through. and then under and under and pull through. And then for this section again, because I want it to be a mirror of this one, I'm going to do the square knot backwards. I'm going to take the thread on the left and the thread on the right, and I'm going to start with the underneath part. So I'm going to work under, under and through, and then over the top and through. So for row 3, I want to remove another 2 threads. So this time we're going to be doing 2 square knots. So again, taking the left and the right hand threads, we're going to do a square knot. And like before, it will be a normal square knot on this side, and then it will be a back to front square knot on the other side to keep it symmetrical. So remember, work underneath this time for your first part of your knot. And then over for the second part. And for your third row, again, you're going to remove 2 threads. And this time you can just do a straightforward square knot in the centre. Part 2, you want to take the threads on the outside, so I'm going to start with the section on the left, and I'm going to work until I've got this thread to the centre point here. And I'm going to do this by working forward knots over the rest of the threads. So once you've done that, the colour from there should be now in the centre to the left section, and then you want to do a mirror image at the other side with the thread on the right. So again, doing backward knots this time as a mirror image until you get this thread to the centre. And once you've done that, you should have something that looks like this. So to begin your third section, you want to take the 2 threads that are in the centre and knot them together. And then I'm going to take the thread that's on the left, and this time I want to do backward knots to bring this thread back to the outside again. And you want to nudge these into place after you've finished, just to keep everything nice and neat. And then you want to do a mirror image at the other side. So taking the thread that is on the right hand section in the centre, you want to do forward knots over the rest of the threads. And again, you can gently adjust here just to keep it neat if you need to. So for your fourth part, you're going to work very similar to how you worked when you were working your first part, only this time you're going to be doing it in reverse. So you want to start with just the 4 threads in the centre. And you want to do these as a square knot like you did before. And for your second row, you want to bring 2 threads back. So like I said, this is the opposite of what you did for section 1. You're adding threads instead of taking them away. And this time you're going to be doing 2 square knots. So you'll work your left hand side as a normal square knot. And then your right hand side, you're going to be doing it back to front. So you want to take the thread under, like you did before, and under, and then through. And to complete, over, over, and through. And for your third row, you want to bring in the next 2 threads at either side, and this time you're going to be doing 3 square knots. So as normal for your first 2. And then backward for the last one. And then for your fourth row in this section, you can bring the last 2 threads at either side, and this time you're going to do 4 square knots. And remember, your third square knot is the one where you're going to have 2 different colours, so you want to do this one backwards. So once you've finished that, you should have all your threads back in their original order, and obviously your last row of section 4 is your first row of section 1, so you want to again move these two out and then keep repeating these sections all the way down until you've got the bracelet as long as you want it to be. And once you finish, you should end up with something that looks like this. So I started with a loop, so I finished with 2 braided tie-on ends, but you could use whichever fastening you prefer. And that is your completed friendship bracelet.